Lloyd. I'm an environmental microbiologist at the University of Tennessee.
I am Tatiana Vishnevetsky, research assistant professor in the Center for Environmental Biotechnology, University of Tennessee.
My name is Julia Wegener. I'm at the Alfred Wegener Institute in Potsdam and at the Humboldt University in Berlin.
Hi, I'm James Bradley and I am from Queen Mary University in London and the GFZ Center for Geosciences in Potsdam.
My name is Andrei Abramov. I'm from Russia, working in the Institut of Biochemical and Biological Problems of Soil Science, head of Soil Cryology Laboratory.
My name is Christian Rasmussen and I'm a PhD candidate at the Alfred Wegener Institute for Marine and Polar Research in Potsdam.
My name is Katie Sipes and I'm a fifth-year PhD student at the University of Tennessee.
My name is Brianna Green and I'm a first-year master's student at the University of Tennessee.
We are currently outside of the town named Ny Ålesund in 79 degrees north in Svalbard, and we are drilling permafrost.
We've come here to start looking at the permafrost. So permafrost is soil that is permanently frozen for at least 2 years in a row. So up here, much of the soil down below a certain depth is always cold, and we want to know what's happening in it. As the climate warms, the global temperature increases, and in fact in the Arctic there's an even greater increase than in the rest of the world. And what this means is that the layers of soil that thaw naturally every summer are going deeper and deeper and deeper. So the layers of ground that were permanently frozen are now coming alive every summer. And the microbes that are already there are going to start maybe producing more greenhouse gases, or not. We have to figure that out.
Permafrost is really important in climate science because it is a huge unknown, and we still don't really know how the thawing permafrost, both marine but also on land, will affect the climate in the future.
The frozen ground in the Arctic contains a huge amount of organic carbon, and at the moment it's in a frozen state, so it's locked away and is inaccessible to microorganisms. But when this ground thaws, as it's predicted to do as a result of climate change, these microbes might become active and degrade that organic matter and turn it into carbon dioxide, which ends up in the atmosphere and further amplifying climate change. So we're drilling into frozen ground to understand how much organic carbon is locked in this permafrost and how microorganisms might become active upon its melting and thawing due to climate change.
The most important thing about permafrost, I think this is biodiversity and microorganisms which survive in permafrost for thousands of years. Recovery of that microorganisms help people just to understand life.
Trying to sample all kind of settings to cover the wide varieties of geological conditions during the last, let's say, 10,000 of years, because at earlier times all this area was covered by thick glacial ice.
Been coming back to this site, and in that time, 8 years, nearly 10 years I guess, I've noticed quite a lot of changes. So the glaciers that are all around us, the front of those glaciers are retreating really significantly, on the order of meters per year. There's less sea ice, so the fjords are freezing over less frequently, and even the buildings that we eat and drink in, like the service buildings that support us in the field, they're sinking into the thawing ground. So literally the ground beneath our feet out here is destabilizing as a result of climate change.
Changes. First of all, when I came up here in 1997, 1998, I measured the how much thawed the upper layer is, and it was about 90 centimeters, and now it's about 190 centimeters, so more, almost double as much. You can now go deep down and the surface is thawed.
This project, I'm specifically interested in when the ground thaws, which microorganisms become active and how fast do they become active, and that will hopefully tell us more about what their role might be in degrading this organic matter and transforming it into greenhouse gases.
Actually, biodiversity and activity of microorganisms in different sites help us understand what is going on with climate change, and microbial communities in different surroundings will respond to increase in temperature.
But it's for sure, it's thawing and we're losing it, and this is a beautiful sight, and we should be aware of this.
It's a very complex landscape here. It's a combination of marine sediments close to the coast and glacial sediments close to the mountains. And we are sitting somewhere in between.
Being here, collecting permafrost samples for future research is very exciting.
Reached a layer with beautiful ice crystals all throughout it. And this is different than anything we've seen in the other upper layers, which is maybe indicates that we're at the point where it's permafrost, where it's really frozen all the time underneath.
The challenges of working here on Svalbard are, of course, the cold, which is the main thing. It has a habit of breaking everything, so you always have to improvise a lot with your equipment. This means welding stuff together, gaffer taping everything. Basically, if you bring it here, you gotta expect it will break. That's just what Svalbard does to your equipment.
The other big danger that we face up here is polar bears. There are about 3,500 polar bears wandering around this small archipelago, and some of them are going to be hungry. As we work, we're constantly doing polar bear checks, looking around us, and we have somebody on duty at all times, one of our team members looking for the polar bears.
Having spatial awareness isn't really like a survival skill as it is here.
Best job in the world. It's not that bad, actually.
So it may seem weird to be talking about soil when we have snow all around us. Everything looks white, but if you dig down a bit underneath this snow, you'll find lots and lots of hard frozen ground.
All around you here, you have lots of snow. So this is typically because we have 8 to 10 months of snow coverage, and the snow is really fluffy. Imagine just a lot of air in the snow, and it's very much insulating. So no matter what happens to the permafrost, the snow is so important because it can potentially warm permafrost. That sounds crazy because it's a cold media, but it's so fluffy that it insulates. It's like a blanket for the permafrost. So that's why we study the snow as well. It's very important to know that the warming that we see here is happening in Svalbard, and that the ground is potentially destabilizing because the permafrost is thawing.
Ny Ålesund is by far my favorite place on Earth. The community is really fun. It's like a science camp for the entire time you're here, and you get to learn all about the different research that all kinds of different people do.
There's something different about standing here than about standing in the trees in Tennessee.
Give our respect for the natural forces and for all these nice natural settings.
So thanks for joining me out here in the Arctic, and good luck with your own adventures.
Thanks so much for joining us at 79 degrees north.
Super, dass ihr alle mithört oder dass Sie alle mithören, dass wir hier in Svalbard mit euch teilen können. Und ja, wäre toll, wenn mehr Leute davon hören würden, was wir hier machen.
Спасибо за приглашение участвовать в ekspediции. Добро пожаловать в Arktiku.
Tusind tak, fordi at I var med her oppe på Svalbard, oppe i Arktis. Og held og lykke fremadrettet med alt, I kunne finde på at lave. Og god rejse til alle i fremtiden.
Is there anything else you want to say on video?
Hire me, NASA.
Okay, that's good. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Come on. Say goodbye in the best way, better way.
Hej då.
Also crying.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I haven't thought about what I'm going to say first.
Here I am, studying permafrost.
30 seconds. All of you.
And work outside like these guys are doing.
Jesus Christ.